In this example, we're going to work out the population variance and then standard deviation for a frequency distribution. To start with, let's look at the various quantities in the formula. We know that mu is the symbol for the mean, so this term of the formula is the mean squared. Sigma fx squared simply means square all the data and then add it up. So basically, sum of squared data. Sigma f means sum the frequencies, which means it's the number of pieces of data that we have. Let's look at our frequency distribution. We have 14 pieces of data which are 0, then 16 which are 1, 8 which are 2, 6 which are 3, and so on. If we want to know the number of pieces of data we have, we simply add the frequency column. This gives us sigma f, the number of pieces of data we have, and adding this column gives us 50. Let's now look at the mean. For the mean, remember, we need the sum of the data. We need to add all of the data up and then divide by the number of pieces of data. We know how many pieces of data there are. There are 50. So we need to sum the data. We know there are 14 zeros, and we can work that out by doing 14 times 0. There are 16 ones, and therefore 16 times 1 will give us the total of this data. There are 8 twos, and 8 twos are 16. 6 threes are 18, 4 fours are 16, and 2 fives are 10. This gives us that the sum of all the data is 76, and the mean will therefore be the sum of the data divided by the number of pieces of data, so will be 76 divided by 50. In terms of the formula, the pieces of data we term as x. The frequency we term as f. This column, we multiplied the number of goals by the frequency, so it's f times x. We also want the sum of the squared data, which we can see is fx squared in the formula, so we want a column fx squared. The easiest way to calculate fx squared is to do x times fx. So we get x times fx giving us fx squared. 0 times 0 is 0. 1 times 16 is 16. 2 times 16 is 32. Then we have 3 times 18, which is 54. 4 times 16, which is 64. And finally 5 times 10, which is 50. Adding this column gives us 216. We can now substitute into the formula. Sigma squared is sigma fx squared, which is the 216, the sum of the fx squareds. 216 divided by the number of pieces of data, which we know is 50. Take away the mean, which is 76 divided by 50, squared. So sigma squared is 2.0096, and then the standard deviation is the square root of the variance, which is 1.42, correct to 3 significant figures.